to listen my voice? Audible to everyone? You can just type yes in the chat box if you are able to listen my voice. Okay, fine. Today we are going to discuss Spring Boot and microservice demo session 1. This actually introduction session, demo session. First 40 minutes I am going to explain what I am going to cover and some overview concept of Spring Boot here. Later you can ask any question, okay, through chat. I'll give even my email ID and contact details how to approach to us. We are going to provide the details at the end. Okay, you can ask your question also, and at the last I am going to share the content also, what I am going to cover in this course. Spring Boot with the cloud and microservices. Okay, this is a 4 pages content. Okay, I'm going to share at the last here what are the concepts that we cover in Spring Boot and web specific, RESTful specific, microservice, and Spring Cloud, and some mini projects, all the details that we are going to share at the last here. So first I'll be taking some demo sessions here. That is what is Spring Boot, what we are going to learn. Okay, how it is actually going to helpful, that I'm taking demo session. Okay, observe. So before learning this session, you should have some basic knowledge on core Java. This is mandatory, and advanced Java basics required here. Okay, you need not to be expert in advanced Java, but basics required. Core Java, you must be good in OOPS concepts. Okay, writing classes, interfaces, enums, annotations, and all. And next important thing is Spring Core. Okay, and Hibernate. Okay, so this minimum knowledge required. However, we are going to brush up these skills. Okay, Spring Core, however, I'm going to explain what are required for Spring Boot, and Hibernate also I'll explain what are required for Spring Boot, but not all. Okay, if you attend separate Spring session, there they are going to explain complete knowledge of these two. Okay, separate Hibernate session and separate Spring Core, but definitely I'll brush up these concepts before attending the sessions. Okay, and some links also I'll give, some material also I'll give, my own material how to learn these two. I'll take some additional sessions for these two. Okay, then our course is actually Spring Boot and microservices. Okay, this is completely I'm going to take here. You need not to have any RESTful knowledge. That is also we are going to cover inside this Spring Boot on microservice only here. Okay, you need not to have here. Okay, so Java knowledge mandatory for this. Okay, otherwise you are not allowed here. This Java, core Java and advanced Java knowledge mandatory. Remaining at least I can cover, but without this you are not eligible here. Okay, Spring Boot and microservice course, it's a duration we are going to take around, it's a 3 months. Okay, more than that even. Okay, 3.5 months around we are going to take here. Web service also included, that is including microservice and web service included here. Every day we are going to take, that's actually 1 hour 30 minutes. It's a 1 hour 30 minute session we are going to take every day around. Okay, and I'm going to cover all required concepts. Okay, any concept, additional concepts are there, I'm just going to cover. Okay, even few other demo links also I'll give if you want to watch them here. Okay, so today we'll start the session. Okay, if you have any specific doubts you can ask at the end. Let us start the demo session. Okay, if you have any specific questions I'll explain at the end if you have. Okay, today first we are going to start the concept of Spring Boot. Okay, Spring Boot. So here what is the major difference between Spring and Spring Boot is, the first one is actually auto configuration. The first important feature of Spring Boot is auto configuration. what is this auto configuration? If we are writing any application using Spring framework, there we used to write some configuration programming. Okay, creating the database connection. Okay, creating the template objects. Okay, writing security configs, web MVC configs, view resolvers, like that. We used to write manual configuration in Spring Boot. That is actually automated in Spring Boot by using the concept of starters. Okay, to understand this auto configuration, first I'll give one simple example, then understand how it is actually going to work. Consider one developer is actually writing one application. One developer one is actually writing one application. Assumption is actually creating banking application. In a similar way, developer 2 also writing one application here. Developer 2 is also writing one application, something like ticket booking application. Okay, bus ticket app. Okay, they are writing the applications here. Okay, now here developer 1 is actually writing one application and developer 2 also writing application. In this banking application, you will be having logic specific to banking application and some setup code will be there. Okay, and here also, if you are writing bus ticket application, you will be having logic and setup code. Okay, this application contains logic which is specific to banking application. Okay, for example, calculate, that is interest amount, and transfer money, check minimum balance. Okay, that all the logics that contains banking application. Here you will be writing logic specific to bus ticket. Okay, find a discount, check promo or voucher codes. Okay, we'll be having all the logics here, but setup code will be almost common in any application. What is the meaning of setup code here? Okay, if you are writing banking application that wants to communicate with a database, so here DB means database connection is required here. Not only in banking application, if you are using bus ticket application and if you're implementing bus ticket application, there also database connection will be there. Okay, so this setup is actually common in banking application or bus ticket application. Not only database connection, okay, we'll be having, okay, that's actually security process. We can also call something like register, login, or login with Facebook, login with the Google. That is called OAuth based security. That's actually called security process. Once you do any transaction in the banking application, you want to give some email notification, so email alert you want to give here. Okay, here also bus ticket application you want to give some email alert. Okay, like that, if we take multiple types of application, some part of code will be common. Not everything, not everything. The point here is multiple applications if we consider here for development. Okay, some part of code, not everything here, some part of code, I'm just calling a setup code is common. Okay, is common. Okay, this setup code, writing this setup code, okay, I'm not speaking about logic here, I'm speaking about setup code. Writing this setup code in case of Spring, okay, in case of Spring framework, not Spring Boot, in case of Spring framework, that is called as configuration. That's actually called as configuration. Okay, creating database connection is a configuration. Okay, we can call DB configuration, security configuration, email configuration, logging configuration, template configuration, JDBC template, JMS template, view resolver configuration for web application. Like we will be having configurations in Spring. Okay, Spring framework mainly works on the concept of configuration. Okay, if you are not good with this configuration concept, don't worry, in upcoming sessions I am going to show how to write this configuration. But here, coming to Spring Boot, that says no, don't write such configurations in Spring Boot, that we reduce. that we reduce. Okay, we provide configuration that is called auto configuration. Okay, the first point understand here, if you are writing multiple applications, some part actually called as setup code and another part is actually called logic or business specific code also you can call. Logic will be individual code actually, that is we can also call it specific to application. Setup code is actually almost common for any kind of application, just values changes. Here you might be using Oracle driver, here you might be using MySQL driver, slightly value changes. That code is common in case of Spring framework. Okay, that code is common in case of Spring framework. Not only that one, even we'll be having some additional things also. Okay, observe. Okay, not only this code I am calling here, some classes. Okay, writing some classes, jars, configuration I just now gave, right? And even some servers. Okay, for example, if you want to run web application, server required. If you want to work with a database, okay, database download and install required here. Okay, if you are using any application, some plugins required, maven plugins, okay, git plugins, like other things required here. So what are all required here? If you want to implement one application here, what are all required? Okay, this actually I'm just calling as a common setup. This is a common setup. Okay, some common classes will be there. Okay, common classes. Okay, for example, data source is a common interface, JDBC template is a common class, some common classes will be there. Jars. Okay, Java, that's OJDBC jar is required if you want to work, or MySQL connector jar is required if you want to work with the database, MySQL database. And common configuration, server environment is actually common if you want to write run web application. Database environment is required, that's database setup is required if you want to perform database operation. Additional plugins required. Okay, this is called a common setup. Okay, in case of Spring, you are going to write this everything logic plus setup. Okay, everything you should only write. This is completely Spring application. This is completely Spring application. Okay, even here also logic plus setup, completely Spring application. This Spring application from the scratch, that means line number 1 onwards, you should only write from the scratch, means from the beginning onwards, developer should only write everything here. Now coming to Spring Boot concept, they said this common setup we are going to give this as one project. Okay, as one project. Here there is one project available. What this project is going to do, it will give some common setup. Okay, this common setup based on the concept, it is going to be changes. If you're doing database programming, setup code is different. If you're doing web programming, setup code different. If you're doing email programming, setup code is different. There is a project which is actually giving this common setup. It's actually giving the common setup. This is actually Spring Boot parent project, we can also call it here. This is Spring Boot parent project. Okay, this parent project is already implemented, you need not to create this one. There is a company called Pivotal team. There is a company called Pivotal team here, they already created this one. What this actually saying, are you writing a project? Yes, here 100% you are only doing coding in case of Spring. Obviously in Spring you should only do. Coming to Spring Boot, Pivotal team, they gave some parent project concept here which contains that common setup. Okay, I'm just calling as a common setup here for your understanding. The standard terminology is auto configuration. Okay, this common setup is actually given by Spring Boot. Okay, that is actually called parent project. That percentage changes from concept to concept. In case of database concept, it may give 80% of code here. In case of WebMVC concept, it may give 60% of code here. Okay, in case of email programming, it may give 70% of code here. Some percent, around 60 to 80% of code, it is actually covering. Around, I'm just giving, not exactly, some percentage of code is given by Spring Boot. Spring Boot as is behaving as a parent project, it's a project. Okay, you can just compare like abstract project, but not exactly, you can compare like something like abstract project. Here it's a parent project that is giving common setup and reducing your duty. Now developer, what is your duty? Okay, developer duty is what actually now here. Okay, you create one project, you create one project. This we are actually calling as a child project. We are actually creating as a child project. Okay, your project is actually called child project. Do you want to create something banking application? Create one banking project. That banking project is called child project. Do you want to create something like bus ticket application? Yes, you create. That is actually called as child project. Now where is parent project? Here. Okay, your project must be connected to this parent project. Why should we connect? Okay, it's simply concept like inheritance. Okay, if you learn oops concept, there is a concept of inheritance, deriving the data from parent to child, almost similar to that here. Similar to that, if you create your project and connect it to Spring Boot, that's a parent project, then what is the code that is actually giving common setup? You need not to write that. Okay, you mainly concentrate on business code or logics. Okay, business codes or logics you have to concentrate. Okay, so that you need not to concentrate here. Okay, this is a work done by developer. Okay, in simple, what you are writing in Spring manually, that is automated in Spring Boot. Majority of the code is automated. Okay, just if you want to understand a simple Spring Boot application and Spring application. Okay, so in Spring framework, if you're writing database programming assumption, okay, you are writing around 200 lines of code, loc. Okay, in case of Spring Boot framework, that is actually in case of Spring Boot, there we are going to write around 10 lines of code. Yes, those many changes actually what exactly we are writing almost predefined here. Even card operations logic, database connection logic, connection pooling logic. Okay, so that's everything is actually automated in Spring Boot. Okay, compared to Spring framework, Spring Boot is actually reduced code. It's actually reduced code here. So we can also call a simple concept of RAD. RAD stands for rapid application development. Okay, in simple it's actually fast coding, and error rate also very less compared to Spring framework. Spring Boot even error rate also less. Okay, developer has to create a child project and write your specific logic and connect it to parent project. Okay, such process is actually we are calling as a common setup, right? That concept is actually called as auto configuration. That concept name is actually called auto configuration. Okay, so that is reducing the common work. What you are doing in Spring framework manually is reduced in Spring Boot, but not everything. Again, I'm saying it's a setup code. You'll come to know what are the different types of setups code based on the chapters. Okay, as I said just now, so if we just see the content, we'll be having different chapters. Okay, we'll be having different chapter. For example, I want to work with a Mongo database. Okay, in case of Spring framework, what is the logic? It was there. Now, what we need not to write in that chapter, I'll show. Okay, so if you go to something like connection pooling, how connection pooling manually created in Spring Boot. Okay, and how it was actually in Spring, how automated in Spring Boot, like we are going to see pagination and sorting, security programming, web application. Okay, database connectivity. Okay, data JPA program, profile management, dev tools, batch processing, email, scheduling. Okay, actuator. Like for every chapter, there is actually we are going to see how it was before and how it is now. Like that, we are going to see. Okay, but today I'll give one small example for your clear understanding. Okay, so that is actually database concept. I'll explain one small example how it is in Spring and how it is in Spring Boot that I'm going to show here. Okay, the first point is auto configuration. Okay, reducing common work, we can also call it setup by developer to create or write application. Okay, reducing such common setup or work that is actually developer. What exactly doing developer previously is actually reduced to write the application. Okay, that is called as auto configuration. Auto configuration. Okay, so but the concept how this auto configuration works. Okay, we said Spring Boot is there. That's actually parent project is there is giving, okay, that's fine, but how exactly it is actually working? Okay, so for every auto configuration there is one jar given. Okay, do you want database concept auto configuration? There is a jar. Okay, do you want web programming auto configuration? There is a jar. Do you want security programming? There is actually a jar. Okay, for every requirement a jar is provided. Okay, that jar you need to add inside your child project. Okay, first we have to connect it to parent, then we have to add this jar. That jar will provide all this auto configuration requirement. Okay, so those jars are actually called as starters. Okay, are simply some part of ready-made code. We can also call starters here. Let me show the list of starters. Okay, so just I'm giving here Spring Boot starters. Just I'm taking the list here. This is Spring Boot starter. Just I'm taking this help here, searching here one by one. Now you can see here all the starters list one by one. Okay, for example, do you want to perform JDBC program? Okay, do you want to perform JDBC program? Yes. Okay, then don't write connection code and all here. Just add this dependency, this starter we need to add. Spring hyphen boot hyphen starter hyphen data JPA is a one. It's a data JDBC is a one. MongoDB is a one here. Like we have so many. Okay, MongoDB reactive specific, of course, that is also we are going to see here. For every requirement there is a starter. Okay, what this starter will do in case of Spring, what you are doing manually, that's actually reduced in case of Spring Boot. Okay, if you want to do email programming, yes, there is a starter. Okay, if you want to implement, that is actually login with Facebook, login with Gmail. You might have seen, if you go to any website, you can register and login, or else login with the Facebook, login with the Gmail, login with the Git. You will see that's a called OAuth, open authorization. Okay, you can do normal security programming, you can do unit testing programming, you can do UI design using theme leaf. For every requirement there will be a starter. Okay, you can implement webflux programming, you can implement normal web application MVC programming, you can implement web services programming. Okay, for every requirement there is a starter. Okay, every requirement there is a starter here. So a starter we can also call it is a jar. It's a jar that contains all setup code. Okay, that contains actually all setup code. Setup code means don't think only code here, will be having even servers also. Yes, what you are listening is correct. We'll be having a starter jar also, that is for server. Okay, for example, if you want to run Tomcat application server, you have to download and install. For that also there is a starter. If you add web starter, you no need to download and install server also. Okay, you no need to download and install database also, embedded database and embedded servers also there. For every requirement what you see here, yes, even for server and database also given by Spring Boot parent. If you want, you can connect with your external also. Okay, everything is given by Spring Boot parent. Majority of the work is reduced by us. Okay, so a starter is a jar that contains all the setup code given by Spring Boot. Okay, for your understanding, I'll explain one starter today. Okay, later remaining starters we are going to see once the concept comes. Okay, some example starters I'm just giving: Spring hyphen boot hyphen starter hyphen data hyphen JDBC. Okay, this actually just I'm writing here, it's a JPA. JPA means, in your understanding, it's a ORM or Hibernate concept. Okay, there is actually one more concept is there, it's a web. Web means actually it's a web MVC if you want to implement here. Okay, like for every requirement we have, okay, for every requirement we have something like webflux. Webflux means that's actually reactive programming. Yeah, we are going to see all what I was just showing here. Like we'll be having for every requirement, email one starter will be there, security one starter will be there. For every requirement one starter will be there. These are ready made. You need not to create them. These are all starters are available in parent project. Okay, in the parent project, okay, all starters are available. What you have to do, choose one starter or multiple starters, add inside your child project. Then it's actually starter will give some setup code, remaining you can write it. Okay, let me show a small difference between a simple difference between Spring framework and Spring Boot framework. There's actually Spring Boot concept here. So there's a difference between, okay, there's actually Spring framework and Spring Boot concept here. How it is actually difference, what exactly difference will be there. Let me take some database concept. Okay, database connection, a simple one I'm writing here just to explain this concept here, database connection. Okay, I want to create a database connection in Spring framework, and in the Spring Boot, how the code is actually going to be different. Okay, here the point you remember, in Spring Boot it is actually auto configured. In Spring framework we have to write manual configuration. Okay, in Spring framework you can write either XML style or Java style, anything is fine here. Okay, that is okay. XML is legacy now. Okay, we can write even Java, but I'll show both the ways what exactly you are familiar. Okay, if you don't know this, also not a issue, just to understand this one I'm writing here. Okay, I am writing a tag called bean. Bean indicates creating the object. General tag meaning here, bean indicates creating the object. Okay, we used to write like XML code here. Bean id indicates object name, something like db connection. Okay, there we have to write class. I'm not writing full class name, something like driver manager, some data source, like this we used to write. And next we used to write a property here. Okay, property name is equals to, we have to write some driver class name. Okay, some value we have to provide, something like I'm writing short name, it's a oracle driver, oracle.jdbc.driver.oracle driver, like this we used to write here, like it's a property. Okay, driver class name, we have to mention one URL, jdbc colon oracle colon thin colon @localhost 1521, like this we can write. And next one is actually username. Okay, consider username is something Naresh IT here. Okay, I'm writing like this. And password, okay, that's actually Raghu. Okay, if you worked on XML configuration like this, you might have practiced. Don't worry if you don't know this one, because this is not required in Spring Boot. Okay, what you learned in Spring, that's not required in Spring Boot. That's what my point actually I want to say here. Or else you might have worked on Java configuration. In case of Java configuration, step number 1, write one public class with any name. Okay, step number 2, apply one annotation @configuration. Step number 3, one object you want to create here, yes, then you define one method. Okay, if you want to create one object here, we need to create one method here, public driver manager data source. Okay, driver manager data source means creating the connection. Data source means actually interface. Driver manager data source means the class here. Okay, dsconn, okay, or dbcon, just I'm writing like this. Okay, here we have to write some code here. Okay, we have to write some code, and here on top of this we used to write @bean. Okay, like that we used to write in Spring. Okay, so like this we used to write here @configuration and @bean. Okay, so here we used to write this object creation logic and setup. Driver manage data source ds is equals to new driver manage data source ds dot set driver class name. It's actually something, just I'm writing, it's a oracle driver. Okay, ds dot set URL, we used to pass some URL jdbc colon, it's a oracle colon some dot dot dot. Okay, ds dot set username Naresh IT. Okay, ds dot set password, just I'm writing it's a Raghu. Okay, finally we have tried something like return ds. This is some sample code I'm just giving in case of Spring Java configuration or Spring XML configuration. Java configuration is faster compared to XML configuration, but initially Spring started with XML configuration only. Nowadays, even some maintenance applications are working with XML configuration only, but latest applications are working with Java configurations because this is faster. Even one more is there, annotation configuration, that I'll show later. This is Spring. Okay, if you want to create a database connection in case of Spring framework, like this you need to do. Okay, not only this one, you need to add some jars also. You need to add jars also. Spring context jar we need to add. Okay, Spring JDBC jar, jar we need to add here, and even something like MySQL connector or Oracle. Okay, that's called OJDBC jar we need to add here. Okay, so like this we have to specify. Okay, what are the required jars that we need to write in case of Spring framework. Let us see the same thing. I just want to create the database connection in Spring Boot. What exactly we need to do here? Okay, first important point here. Okay, you have to create one Spring Boot project. Okay, create the project and link with parent project. I'll show how to link later. Just remember the point here. Whatever the child project you are writing, definitely you have to link with parent project. Can we create this project without parent project? No, that's not possible. If we create that like that, that's never called Spring Boot application. That might be normal Java application or Maven application. Definitely in case of Spring Boot, your child project must be connected to parent project. This parent project is predefined and this is your application. I'll show how to link. Okay, by using Maven parent tag or Gradle tag, we have to link that. Okay, once you've done here, and step number 2, add one starter. Okay, add one starter. Okay, what is your starter requirement? I want to do database here, so just add the starter. Okay, add the starter. What is the next thing? Over, coding completed. Yes, really, yes, coding complete. Even okay, database operations also, insert, update, delete also they will give actually here. Okay, it's a coding completed. But here, what is a major thing that you need to do? Okay, it will actually takes all the required jars, but one jar you need to add extra here, OJDBC jar. Remaining all Spring specific and all it is going to add. Okay, one starter you need to add and one jar you need to add. And one more important point, it will create database connection fine, but for which database you want to create? Okay, you are giving values, right? Look at the values. Oracle driver is a value, URL is a value, username is a value, password is a value. Those values you have to give by using one input file. Okay, yes, it is having code, it will create the database connection and all, but you need to give some input files. That's actually called application.properties. Okay, properties means understand data in the form of key and value. Okay, you have to pass the data. Okay, like this you have to pass here something. Just I'm giving example here. It's a driver class. Okay, driver class name. I'm not giving exact key name, just I'm giving simple one. Driver class name, it's a Oracle driver. URL, it's a JDBC colon Oracle. I don't want to confuse you by giving exact key names and all. Just understand the major concept here. It's a username is equals to Naresh IT. Password is equals to, okay, something like a Raghu. Okay, why should we give like this? Because it's a predefined code. Predefined code you can't open and modify with our values. So they says we are writing the code. Okay, when you add this dependency, we'll take care of the code. You just provide this input. What about these configurations and all? This is not required in case of Spring Boot. Okay, not only this one, jars not required. Even this one is going to give some embedded database also. Database also need not to download and install. That concept we are going to see in upcoming versions here. That is H2 databases and all we are going to see. That's upcoming chapters we are going to see. At that time I'll explain clearly how the database also need not to download and install. Okay, once you add a starter here, that above code is automatically provided and some required jars also provided. Okay, that's actually called Spring Boot. Okay, if you want to give what is Spring Boot in few words, actually here, remember here, Spring Boot is also, Spring Boot is a Spring based framework. Yes, Spring Boot also framework. Internally it is using Spring. Okay, it is just a simplification of Spring framework, nothing more than that. What you are doing in Spring, okay, is actually reduced thing. Of course, some new features also there. What are not there in Spring? New features also there, something like microservices, cloud implementation, high level security programmings, okay, actuators, okay, some new profile management. Like we have additional concepts also in Spring Boot. What is there in Spring? Everything is in Spring Boot, and also some additional concepts are there. But what is the major difference? If you want to see, Spring Boot internally uses Spring based framework that reduces common setup done by programmer in applications. Okay, if you're writing any application, some common setup is there, right? That's actually reducing. That is actually major point of Spring Boot here. Okay, so yes, you can call even it's a Spring Boot is a framework also, but mainly if you want to know what is Spring Boot, it's a ready-made project. Okay, it's but not everything it is having here. It's like a abstract here. Spring Boot is actually a parent project given by Pivotal team. Now you want to write a child project and you want to link with a Spring Boot, then how to write? Okay, definitely you have to use a concept of either Maven or Gradle. Okay, don't worry, these two also I'll explain. If you don't know, not to worry about that. Okay, we have to use a concept of either Maven or Gradle. Okay, if you use Maven and if you create the project, that is fine. That can be connected to Spring Boot. Gradle is a one more concept that you can use to communicate here. Okay, so that we can write here. So there's actually Maven project or Gradle project. Normal project we can't write. Definitely you have to use one of this one here. Okay, so the next important feature of Spring Boot is actually microservices. It's actually entirely new design. One separate day I'm going to explain this architecture and all here, how cloud concept is working, how microservice concept is working. Okay, so many people will get confused. Okay, so that's actually there is a AWS cloud, Amazon Web Service cloud is there, Spring cloud is there, are the same? No, no, no. Spring cloud is actually to develop the application. AWS cloud is to deploy the application. If you want to run the project, AWS cloud. Okay, Spring cloud is to create the projects. It's a new design of writing the projects, we can call. Okay, Spring cloud is actually new design of writing the project using microservice design patterns actually here that we are going to see. Okay, so this is just a demo session I'm just taking today. Okay, just overview only, and duration is actually 3 months. I'm going to cover here. Okay, every day that's actually 1 hour 30 minutes. These are only demo sessions here. Okay, I'll cover web services also here. Okay, other than core Java and advanced Java, remaining all I'll cover in my applications. Okay, this is just demo sessions. I'll be giving total three demo sessions. Okay, that's actually free. No recorded video given to any student. Okay, we'll not give any recorded session. Okay, we'll give complete materials as a PDFs. We are going to give all softwares. Okay, same timing we are going to actually have every day. I'll start by 9:05 a.m. Okay, IST. Okay, I'll be taking up to something like 9:40. Okay, 9:35, 9:40 around. That depends on the concept here. AM, IST. Okay, so here that is actually subject wise we are never going to have compromise here. Okay, so this content you won't get anywhere, that's guarantee I'll give here. Only duration you have to compromise. Okay, my content will be suitable for a fresher to, okay, a fresher to 5+ years experience. Okay, not more than that. This is only boundary of my subject here. Definitely I'll give this content here. Sorry, it's a 1040. Sorry, my mistake. Sorry, it's a 1040, my mistake here. Okay, so here this is a subject I'm just going to give. Okay, fresher to 5+ years. Okay, I'll give mini projects also even inside this. Okay, these mini projects I'm just going to cover. Yeah, all real-time project concepts I'm going to cover. Okay, especially on web programming I'll give here, web services I'll give here, microservices I'll give. Mainly I'm just going to give here. Okay, so this actually, okay, so this payment related information, okay, we'll give in the next session. Okay, here we are providing two actually, one only Spring Boot and microservice, second one Spring Boot microservice along with the Angular or React. Okay, we have two. Okay, yeah, that's actually, yeah, RESTful also covered. RESTful, that's web service also covered. In this many projects only I'll cover. Okay, here we have two types of packages. That's your interest, what exactly you want to learn here. Yeah, Spring Boot, yeah, reactive concepts also will be there. Okay, subject wise I'm saying, right, you won't get such kind of content again. Okay, so you can just take whatever the package that you are interested. Okay, only if you want you can take Spring Boot here. Okay, or as Spring Boot with Angular or React. Okay, any one you can choose, not both, either Angular or React, that you can choose here. Yeah, Spring Cloud also covered. Microservice means Spring Cloud also covered. Spring Boot with the cloud and microservice. That's why duration more, sir. It's around 3.5 months. Okay, duration will be here. Okay, for payments details and any additional information if you want to know here. Okay, I'll give admin number. You can contact to them. Okay, his name is actually Srikant. Okay, just I'll give his number here. If you wait for a second, it's a 630-2968-665. Okay, all real-time tools also we cover. Okay, JUnit, Maven, Log4j, Gradle, Docker, Jenkins. Okay, what are the tools required that we are going to cover here? AWS I won't cover, other faculties will take here. Okay, so Angular or React also will be covered by other faculties, not by me. Okay, I'll cover completely Spring Boot, tools, microservice, cloud. Okay, that I'm just going to cover here. Integrations also provided. Spring Boot integration mini project, yeah, definitely I'll give. Okay, so DevOps I won't take, actually other faculties will take. Okay, Spring Boot with Angular integrations also I'll give, with React integrations also will be given. Okay, mini projects they will be given. Okay, and along with this, yeah, I'll be giving some additional sessions also here. Oh, yeah, that payment gateways and all additional sessions I'm saying here. Okay, content, whatever the content I provided here, you can just get it from my Facebook group. Okay, this is my Facebook group. There I'll provide here, yeah, MongoDB and all I'll provide here. Content I'm posting in my Facebook group. This is the Java temple. You can just join here and you can download all the content. Within 15 minutes I'll post the content. Okay, there you can see some sample documents and all materials also I'll provide. This is my Facebook group. And still if you have any particular doubts and questions also, java by Raghu at gmail.com. Okay, this is my email ID. You can ask anything here. It's just a demo session only today I'm taking here. Okay, still I'll give two more demo sessions. Then after regular classes will be there. That's actually 1.5 hour sessions will be there. Okay, yeah, interview questions I'll give as a PDF documents in my Facebook group only. You can download from there. Okay, whatever there in the content definitely I'll cover, and more than that also. Okay, content will be more than this, as we promised. Definitely 20% extra only will get, but not less than that. Kafka will be there, OAuth 2 will be there, other tools, everything, security also we cover. Okay, if you have a specific question also, you can ask in the chat box, that I'm just going to give answer here. GitHub also cover. Spring REST reactive also I'll cover. XML web service will not be there. RESTful web service I'll cover. Yeah, designs means along with mini projects I'll cover. Okay, syllabus copy I'll share through my Facebook group, or else if you are unable to get, you can send an email to me, I'll give it. React content also I'll cover. Spring Boot reactive I'll cover. No recording sessions will be provided. If you miss any session, no recording session will be provided. Okay, I'll revise some last day session only. Recording sessions will not be provided. JPQL, HQL, joins, okay, function call procedures also covered. Job placement I don't know, sir. Please contact to Srikant. Mostly no, I think. Okay, I'm not sure about jobs and all here. Please contact admin. Any project related, content related, you can ask. Okay, Angular, if you want, payments will be different actually. If you want with Angular, without Angular, two packages are there. You can contact to Srikant. Package and payment details, you please contact to Srikant. Timing and duration will be same actually here. Every day 1.5 hour. Okay, duration will be more than 3. Okay, subject wise no compromise, sir. We'll give more than you are expecting. That I'll give guarantee. If you have doubt, go to my Facebook group and ask post a comment. Okay, what Raghu sir will teach is the subjective suitable. You just ask. There are more than 15,000 students are there. All they are my students, not outsiders actually. Okay, you can ask subject wise, no compromise. That I'll give. Okay, not for up to 5 years, I'll give guarantee. Subject wise, I'll give guarantee. Duration wise, that is actually lengthy. Notes also I'll share every day through Google Drive links actually. Once we start the session, we are going to. Microservice also we cover. No, cloud we are not actually. AWS we don't cover. We will be having Spring Boot cloud that I'll cover. Deployments and all I'll show. But separate AWS you have to learn. For example, Angular is there. Angular I won't cover. I'll give integration like that remaining tools also. New batches details please contact to Srikanth. Other timings please contact to Srikanth admin. They will provide. Okay, everyday session will be there Monday to Saturday. Okay, Monday to Saturday session will be there. Sunday additional classes will be there. Something like some special classes, something like payment gateway. Okay, captcha programming like that. Okay, that's actually week 6 days classes will be there. Microservice with design patterns, yes, definitely. Unit testing also covered. JUnit test will be covered. JUnit with Mockito. Build and deployment will be having PCF, Pivotal Cloud Founders that I'll going to show. JUnit and Mockito will be covered, not TestNG. JUnit and Mockito will be covered. Okay. Sessions will be repeated on your demand, but recording sessions will not be given. Because please contact admin, they will provide these remaining documents and all here. Project batch will take some time. Okay, mini projects will be given. Daily code files will be shared through Google Drive. No, AWS will not be given. AWS will not be given. If you want more experience, you want to cover. Okay, first you finish this course, and also we have one separate project batch. From there you can get it. Spring I'm not taking here, but Spring Core basics and Hibernate basics I'll give it here. AWS and DevOps I won't cover here, that you have to learn separately. Yeah, Spring Core I'll cover here. What is required for the Spring Boot I'll cover. Major projects will be started later. If it started, I'll inform that. Project also will take 3.5 months. Project batches will be having 3 domains: banking, warehousing, medical, insurance. Different domains are there. At the time of starting the project, we'll inform. Microservice and web service, everything I'll cover. I said, right, what you should have knowledge is only core Java and advanced Java. Okay, basics of Spring Core required. If you don't have also, then I'll cover. These two you must have. Remaining everything what is there, I'll cover for sure. Spring MVC also we cover. Okay, content I'll post. You can just go through that. I'm saying, right, subject wise, no compromise. Will give huge subject. That's for sure. Okay, only duration you have to compromise. Separate project will be there. Project duration will be 3.5 months. Here I'll give only mini projects. Around 4 to 5 mini projects I'll give. Project batch you are not eligible. Once it is started, I'll let you know. Mostly this month, middle or ending will start. Okay. Front-end technologies, JSP, theme, leaf, okay, Angular integration, React integration also covered. Yeah, duration I'm saying, right, 3 to 4 months for sure. Okay, this is my Facebook group link and email ID. You can join there. I'll post the course content. You can just go through that. No, Angular, if you want, payments are different actually. Payment related, please contact admin. Spring Boot and Angular package, if you take, that is a different. Okay, Spring Boot duration is 3 to 4 months. Only Spring Boot duration. Only Spring Boot, only 3 to 4 months. If you want parallel, you can attend Angular also. Main project is separate. Mini projects will be covered. Java real-time project will be started mostly this month 17th. Once it is started, we'll let you know. No, Angular is not by me. Other faculties will take. Angular or React will be taken by other faculties, not by me here. Ravi Kumar, for that information, you have to contact admin. They will provide the additional informations. Only technical things you can ask to me. Payments, parallel batches, okay, any other things, discounts, please contact to Srikanth. Yeah, many projects I'll explain. Okay. Yeah, 2 years more than sufficient. It's actually, I'll be giving subject for up to 4 to 5 years, not an issue here. Easily you can go. Angular timing Sai Krishna, Sai Kumar, please contact to Srikanth, other batches timings and all. Subhash, please contact to Srikanth for that cases here. Any technical questions you can ask to me. Batch information, other slots, timings and all, contact admin. Yeah, backend architecture. Without architecture, we can't write programming, Kuntal, that we can't write. That's mandatory. Yes, syllabus PDF I am posting in my Facebook group. I'm just uploading there. Please download from there. Syllabus copy I'm posting in my Facebook group. You can just get it from there. SOAP will not be covered, completely rest actually here. It's a Spring Boot course content. Yeah, cache is covered. XML web service batch will be separate batch. If it is started, we'll let you know. XML based web service if you want, once we start, we'll inform. Yeah, Postman testing, Swagger testing, everything. You need not to ask small concepts. Definitely it will be there. What are required for real-time requirements, actually, companies, jobs, okay, that you will get more than that. Okay, yeah, load balancing, config servers, those are minimum things, Mohammed. Definitely we are going to cover. Subject wise clarity, subject content, you will need not to worry, you will get more than that. But no AWS concept we cover. For that, you have to take separate package. AWS, if you want separate package, you have to take. Okay, this is completely Spring Boot cloud and microservices. Angular, if you want, you have to take separate package. Okay, that's money related things extra. If you want, those also will get it. Yeah, tools all free for my students. I'll give all tools. Java real time tools I'll give. Java real time tools I'll give free. Only microservice batch we don't have as of now. If it is started, we'll let you know. Sunil, if you have any particular personal question, please send an email to me. There I'll answer. No, Spring Cloud, actually Spring Boot and Cloud is actually programming. AWS is actually deployment tool. Only if you want to deploy the application, that's actually AWS. That you have to learn separately. Payments related different. Java 8 features, Java 5 to that's actually 10 features. What are required in the project, that I also cover. Project batch, once it is started, we'll let you know in Facebook group. Yeah, web service also included here. Java version I'll take 11. Java version I'll take 11 here. Okay, but I'll cover Java 5 to 10, all the features even. Balaji, please contact to Srikanth for any payments and additional information. Yeah, functional programming also we cover. Those are minimum things I'm saying, right? Whatever you're asking, concepts wise, almost we cover everything here. Sure, Sanjeev, we are going to plan that also. In mostly you are going to get that information. Major project also I'll cover. No need to add separate, no need to attend separate web service. I'll cover almost everything here only. Majority of the content I'll cover. Yeah, you can join continuation tomorrow onwards. Spring Cloud is actually programming. If you want to develop the application, there is a complete microservice architecture is there that is implemented using Spring Cloud. AWS, if you want to run the application, deployment environment. Okay. Yeah, Docker also will give. Okay, Docker also will give. Okay, integrations will give. DevOps tools will give only few integrations actually, but separately you need to learn them. Okay, MongoDB I'll cover. Oracle database, MySQL database we cover. No SQL DB, only MongoDB. Major projects, if you want to learn, that is a separate batch. Here we cover only mini projects. Yeah, if we get while programming, if we get any doubts or questions, you can send Java by Raghu at Gmail to me. I'll give answer. If you send your error screen, code samples, I'll give solution also. Demo classes will be 45 minutes for next 3 days. Okay, later regular sessions will be 1 hour 30 minutes. Yeah, I'll give notes, images, documents, and all. Initial documents I'll post in my Facebook group. Starting notes I'll post in Facebook group. Later we'll give drive links. Sunday class will not be there. Monday to Saturday class will be there. Okay. So thank you for session. Continuation we are going to see in tomorrow's class. Same timing, same link, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Tomorrow demo will be taken. Okay. And after demos completed, regular sessions will be started here. Tomorrow I'm going to explain somewhat more concepts about Spring Boot and Spring. Okay, so demo sessions also part of regular sessions only, but to understand how we are teaching and what kind of subject you are going to get, that is the purpose only demo sessions. Okay, however we are going to cover some concepts also here. Okay. Okay, minimum core Java, advanced Java knowledge required. Without that, please don't attend. Okay, so core Java OOPS concepts completed and advanced Java basics only required, servlets and JDBC, then only please attend, else don't. That's a minimum requirement. Okay, if you want to contact, this is a contact number and all. Okay, Tapas, if you have any particular personal questions, please send an email to me. I'll give answer. I can't give answer here. Okay, any personal questions if you have. Okay, any profile specific problems or any personal problems, that means company or job related things, send an email to me. I'll give answer there. Prerequisites actually core Java and advanced Java mandatory. Remaining I'll cover. Core Java, advanced Java mandatory. Remaining I'll cover. Everything what exactly you are going to see, remaining I'll cover. Core Java, advanced Java from your side. Yeah, in this course. Yeah, PDFs also I'll give. PDF documents, images. Yeah, I'll give some basic knowledge also from core Java and advanced Java. From the beginning class onwards, I won't explain this. However, I'll explain some servlets concept because we are going to write here some JSP concepts. I'll write here, but step by step, like core Java class, we won't explain everything. I'll revise whatever the concepts we need that we revise here. Yeah, Shaikh, not a issue. You can continue. That's not a problem. Everyday concepts, whatever I'm just giving, you practice that. That's more than sufficient. Yeah, everyday code will be explained and written live code only from the line one onwards. I won't open the existed code. That same code I'll share to you. Task also given. Okay, similar concepts tasks also given here. Okay, if you're unable to write the code, I'll give support also. If you get any exceptions or problems, you can send an email to me. Okay, I'll give solutions also to you. Spring core also we are going to cover here. Okay, those required concepts I'll explain here. Spring core means actually rules to write all Spring programming and Spring Boot programming. Yeah, Nitish Kumar, more than sufficient. You can continue. Subhash, that is also we are covering, however. Yeah, Narayan, you can attend. Microservice actually, that's actually a new design pattern that we are going to implement our project in a loosely coupled manner. Okay, that's to handle the load balancing concepts and all here. Once we start that design, you will understand. My subject will cover up to 5 years, fresher to 5 years. Yeah, Spring Core and Hibernate, you should have basic knowledge. However, I'll give some points here. If you attend those also, that's fine. Okay, you should need basic knowledge here also. But I'll cover these two from my side. Hibernate basics and Spring Core basics. What are required for Spring Boot? Not everything. What are required for Spring Boot that I'll cover. Java, I'll explain up to 11. Up to 11. Remaining, you have to learn in core Java. That's what I'm saying. Core Java class we can't take here. You have to learn separately core Java and you should come. Already Spring Boot content only heavy. I can't cover core Java concepts here. That's not possible, sir. If you complete core Java and if you come here, so that I can help. Okay. So thank you for session. Tomorrow, same timing, we are going to start demo session 2 here. If you have any questions, you can call to Srikanth and send an email to me also. And you can get the course content in my Facebook group, the Java Temple. Thank you, everyone.